Hi, everyone. So today is Sunday, September 7th, and I am 2 days past post-surgery for the lumpectomy and the minor breast reconstruction, and everything went really, really well. There weren't any complications from the surgery or the anesthesia or anything like that. So I'm feeling very, very grateful that all went to plan. I am feeling generally pretty good, all things considered. I am definitely a little achy. I'm a little bit, I guess I'll say a little lethargic, but it's a little tricky sleeping. I do have drains. Excuse me. I do have drains, one on each side. So it's this tube that comes out of the side of the breast, and it's there to collect any sort of blood or fluid that builds up throughout the healing process. So it's got the tubes and these little, what they call bulbs. They almost look like little plastic, little plastic juice containers or whatever. But so those are there, and those will be in for several days, probably through the week. Maybe Wednesday, the earliest they might come out. I have to call the plastic surgeon tomorrow and just kind of go over that again to find out exactly when to go into her office. But what I really wanted to do, I have a bunch of catching up to do. I have a lot of things to share, a lot of anecdotes, a lot of things I just really want to share that have happened over the last few days, and even like the weeks leading up. So I'm probably going to do either one really long video now or a bunch of little videos and just kind of post them in sequence. But the very first thing I want to do before I get into anything else is say thank you. Deep thank you to all of you that have been with me through this journey so far, that have sent your well wishes, that have sent positive vibes, that have shared your stories with me. Thank you right off the bat for that. But I also want to thank you to my good friend Dan and Samantha and Melissa, who she'll get another shout out in a minute. 2 weeks ago, Dan did something very special for me. I also happened to co-host a podcast with Dan. I've been part of it for about 2 years. He's been doing it for almost 3, I think. Started to 2024. I'm not sure when. End of 2024, I think. I wrote a children's book called The Farty Feline, and a good friend of mine was speaking with Dan, who already at that time had been hosting his podcast called the Shelter Cats Podcast, that honored and told the stories of people that did anything to help the lives of rescue cats, of cats that are, feral cats on the street, helping them, do TNR for those cats, caring for cats, working rescues, working shelters, doing rescuing, fostering, anything that has to do with, helping a cat, because Dan is incredibly passionate about animals, but cats in particular. So I went on his podcast as a guest for my book. He and I hit it off. We had such a great time. We laughed our way through the entire podcast that he came back and invited me on to be a co-host. So I've been a co-host for almost 2 years now with him, and we've just had a wonderful time. Well, 2 weeks ago, he and Samantha surprised me. I knew we were going to do a little special recording. He had asked me if it was okay if we did something about me, about the breast cancer, and I said, yeah, that's fine. I didn't know what he had in store. I log on to the recording, and he had Melissa as a special guest, which was lovely because I had no clue she was going to be there. And between the three of them, they did a reading of my book in the podcast where Samantha and Dan read parts from the book. Melissa did wonderful sound effects in the background. And, we just talked about, my life, and Melissa and I have been friends since we were in second grade. So we go back a couple of years. So we just talked about, that our history a little bit, our history with animals and things. And just had a wonderful conversation. And it was so incredibly thoughtful and considerate for Dan to arrange that I wanted to make sure that I thanked him, and I thanked Samantha, and I thanked Melissa for making that happen, because that was very, very touching. I'm going to put links to all kinds of stuff in this video's comments. And that's going to be one of them to our podcast. Also to my book, if you wanted to, by any chance, take a look at that. It's available on Amazon, just saying. Okay, so I finally got to do that. All right. My chair keeps sinking for some reason right now. I don't really know why. But then I also wanted to, along the lines of my gratitude journey, I really want to thank Melissa and Janine for literally being there for me over these last few days. Melissa lives in upstate New York in Albany, and I live on Long Island. We are about 4 hours away from each other. Like I said, we grew up together, so we're constantly back and forth visiting one another. But she came down. She came down Thursday night before my surgery, and was with me at the hospital the entire day, no matter how much I told her to go and enjoy, because the hospital was at Huntington Hospital here on Long Island. And if you know anything about Huntington, it's a beautiful town. You can go up a little bit. You got the bay is right there, just gorgeous, lots of shops, lots of restaurants, a beautiful park, a museum, all kinds of beautiful things. And I knew I was going to be in surgery for about 4 hours. So I said, why don't you go out, go have breakfast somewhere, go get something, go do a little shopping. She wouldn't leave the hospital. She stayed in the hospital the whole day. So she was there the whole day. Janine was there almost the whole day, except when she left to go take care of her own little kids, her children. And then I was, like I said, the surgery was about 4 hours. By the time I was out of recovery and discharged, I think we left the hospital about 9 o'clock, maybe. I'm sure she'll correct me in the comments if I'm not right. And then we got home, we came back here, and Janine came back over here, and the three of us just kind of finished the night off chatting. We got Janine set up. We helped Janine get set up with her TikTok account, which I'll put a link to that in there too. Melissa's got her own TikTok account. So everybody's getting a link. Everybody's going to get a shout out. We got home from the hospital. There was a bouquet of flowers with a little balloon, a get well balloon. And I was like, oh, who is that? Where's that from? So I looked at it closely, and it's a little white kitten. I had shared another video that's got pictures, so there's some pictures in that. I'll probably share it again in a bit. But it's a little white kitten with a little teensy tiny, like, medical bag and a little halo and a note from another friend of mine that I grew up with, Sue, who... Again, I love cats. I have 3 of them right now. I co-host a podcast about cats. I love cats, and having this cat bouquet was so touching. And there was a little note that said, breast cancer surgery sucks, but at least I don't have to wear a collar. So, or a cone. Is a cone? A cone. So that was nice to come home to. And then underneath my door on the door jamb was this gigundo praying mantis. He was about 3 inches long, easily. Just sitting there, staring at us, just looking at us. And Melissa, who does a silly and wonderful series called Bug Interviews, after she insisted that I get in the house, I insisted she go back outside and do an interview with the praying mantis. So she did a little interview with the praying mantis, and then came in, and the 3 of us just kind of chatted and had a wonderful night. Janine stayed over Friday night, and then we all woke up and had breakfast, and then later in the day, Janine hung out for a little while, and then she left. My brother came in from Indiana Saturday night. So it's been a wonderful weekend. And then today, like I said, it's Sunday. So Janine came back over this morning. So it was Melissa, Janine, and my brother and myself. We had a little breakfast. We had some coffee. And then Melissa went back home. Janine stayed. She blew out my hair for me today, which was nice because I needed some help in that department. And I love it. It looks great. Yeah, so she hung out for a little bit, and then she left, and now my brother is here, and my brother is helping me with a bunch of stuff around my house that really needs to be done because I just can't get it done. So if you hear any banging in the background, that's him. And I believe at the moment he's helping me fix a gutter. So anyway, so this first video is just really about the gratitude that I have in helping me get through not just this last week, not just the last couple of days with the surgery, but the lead up to it, and just my gratitude for having these wonderful people in my life, and how much the support means to me. Yeah. So I think I'm going to end this one here, but I will continue, and there'll be more songs in another video. I'm trying to keep these as short as I can, so we're already at 10 minutes. Sorry. Next video, maybe little stories about the things that have happened over the last few days. All right. Thanks. Take care, guys. Thanks.